Good evening, everyone. And I am so excited to be here. So, for those of you that have yet to meet, my name is Rachel. Rachel Chan. I'm 33 years old. I am from a very small town in Scotland called Ayr, and I've actually been partnered with Arbonne now for 12 years, coming up in February next year, which is just crazy. So, I was actually 21 when I decided to join Arbonne, and at the time, I was not the poster child that you would have thought would have been successful in a business like this. I was 21, as I'd mentioned. I had no background in business. I had no background in health and wellness. And some might say I had very little work life experience at the time. And I also had zero influence at the time. And when I decided to join Arbonne, honestly, my biggest fear was who is going to listen to me? Who's going to listen to me about a business opportunity? And also at the time, Arbonne's core line of products was anti-aging skincare. And none of my friends at 21 years old were interested in anti-aging skincare. So I was not the poster child that you would have thought she's going to be successful at a business like this. However, I was definitely in a place in my life already where I felt quite disillusioned with the world of 9 to 5. I was raised by a single mum, and I feel like my upbringing was a huge part of my journey because I watched my mum dedicate her life to her career in the NHS. She worked her way up that NHS career ladder. She got to the top of, her sort of salary band within the NHS as a nurse. I watched her like be very burned out because she dedicated so much of herself to this career, obviously to provide for her family, for three children on her own. But I saw a woman who was very overworked, underpaid, and there wasn't a lot left for her, at the end of it. And I sort of looked at her and I thought, is that what I want for my future? Do I really want to be in that place where I really deplete myself of my time and my health in order to survive and put food on the table? So I had found myself in a situation where I knew the path that I was on was not going to give me the sort of lifestyle that I wanted. But I think, like a lot of people, I didn't know another way until Arbonne entered my life. And it was quite a chance encounter where I met a woman through my work. She offered for me to take a look at this. Initially, I didn't think it was for me. For about 6 months, I said no, or not right now, and I made excuses. And it wasn't until I actually went along to a Discover Arbonne presentation in Glasgow, which is about an hour from where I stay. And I went to an event where there was about 200 people there. And although when I listened to the information that I'm going to share with you tonight, I still wasn't quite sure how can someone like me make a success of something like this. There was something about the energy in the room. Now, I've always been quite an intuitive, gut-led person, and I just, for the first time in my life, felt this kind of, I was surrounded by people who seemed really excited. I was surrounded by people who seemed really positive. And also, the diversity in the room was a thing that made me sit up and think, well, if this person is doing it alongside running a successful business, there must be something in it. If there's teachers over here doing it, if there's lawyers, if there's doctors, there's something in this little skincare business that I'm not quite grasping. And I heard the information and I got really excited and I decided to jump in. And what I will say, so that was February 2013. I would love to say that I was an overnight success story. I wasn't. I did what I would really recommend to you not to do. Is I walked away from that event that night and I allowed the opinions from others around me who told me that this wouldn't work, who told me that people like you, Rachel, don't make a success of things like this. Stick to your 9 to 5 job, that won't work, and all of that stuff. And I allowed that to cloud my mind for around about 6 or 7 months. And then I had what I would describe as my first post-traumatic growth experience. And this is basically where it's referred to where something sort of some shift happens in your life. And for me, that was falling pregnant, having a baby 7 weeks early, being in intensive care with her for 2 months. And that's where I had this experience where I realized that if I carried on doing the same thing day in and day out, then nothing would change. And I quickly realised as I sat in that hospital, my little baby was, in an incubator pretty much all of the time for around about 7 weeks. I sat there thinking, Rachel, what are you going to do when you get home? Your maternity leave is going to be over in 4 months, or your pay is going to stop completely. You're going to have to go back to work. You've got this little baby now, and you're going to either sacrifice time with her or you're going to sacrifice income. And how are you going to afford to live? How are you going to pay the bills? At the time, my car, the exhaust had actually just fallen off the bottom of it. It was a Fiat Punto that I drove at the time. How are you going to pay to get that fixed? And all these fears, and realizing that this business that I was so scared to actually build because of the opinions of others could be the vehicle to enable me to have not only the time flexibility to be able to be at home with my baby, but also the financial resilience and also freedom so that I could earn an income, but also be a stay-at-home mum, because I'd met people through Arbonne who were doing exactly that. So in January 2014, 11 months after initially joining Arbonne, I decided that I was all in. I was going to stop listening to people around me and I was going to take ownership of my future and I was going to build this. And I started plugging into, the training and systems that you get when you start an Arbonne business. And basically from there, my business started to grow really quickly. Within 12 weeks, I promoted to the second level of management, which is called area manager. And then 12 weeks after that, so 6 months in, my income from Arbonne that month had actually surpassed what I was earning in my 9 to 5 job back then. So I made the decision in July, so I think it was June or July, feels like a lifetime ago, 2014, to hand my notice into my job at the time and walk away from the world of 9 to 5. And basically what Arbonne gave me in that season of my life, in my 20s, was the ability to raise my family. So I've got 2 little girls, and I am so grateful that because of Arbonne, I was able to actually work my work around my life and just be there at home with them every single day, take them to meetings with me, do events with them. Like anyone that knows me in Arbonne, I always had a child somewhere, like one on the floor, the other one in the pram. And I'm just so grateful because I believe, and I know for women, sometimes it's so difficult to have a thriving career and also be a extremely present parent. Society often tells us we have to choose one or the other. So I am so grateful for that. So that's what it did for me in my 20s. And genuinely for me in my 20s, I believed that I was what I would describe as hashtag living the dream, because in that season of my life, I was like earning more money than would ever have been possible for someone like me from my Arbonne business than I would have in a 9 to 5 job. And I don't share that for any other reason, for I suppose for you to understand the income potential. So on average, I was earning probably about 3 or 4 times a month from my Arbonne business than I would have done in my 9 to 5 job. And then things changed again for me in 2019. I became a solo parent. And this is where I would say I used to hear at Arbonne training events, build this business to prepare for impact. And I honestly, up until that point, didn't really know what that meant because I hadn't really experienced a huge impact in my life. Obviously, having a baby at 21 was pretty impactful. But at 28 years old, I found myself in this situation where essentially I was homeless. And well, not homeless in the sense I was out in the streets. I could have chosen to go and live with my mum. She offered me the spare room, but I didn't want to do that. And I'm so grateful because of my Arbonne business, I was able to start over on my own with 2 children, with no financial support from anyone else. Within 6 months after renting a house, I was able to buy my own home with no financial backing or support from anyone else. And I was able to not only thrive, in terms of financially, provide for me and my 2 children, but also for me, the thing that I want you to really take away from this is I believe if it had not been for Arbonne, the strength of mindset, the personal growth that I'd experienced through being a part of this business, I don't know if I would have survived what I would describe as probably for 2 years, what was one of the most challenging couple of years of my life, without going into too much detail. And fast forward now, life looks very different. I'm 33, my eldest is 11, my youngest is 7. And really, in this season, Arbonne represents choice. It represents freedom. It represents the ability for me to like have a business that still continues to like it continues to, what would the word be? Basically, like bring me joy in so many ways. I love the fact that I'm able to show other people how they can create the choices that they want through this business. I love the fact that still I get to drop my kids off and pick them up from school, but still work my business in and around these times. I love the fact that I get to help people transform in their health through the products, through our wellness programs. And I love the fact that it gives me a sense of purpose, that I feel like I'm growing, I'm not staying stagnant. So, that's been my journey over the last 12 years. It's been one of the best things that I have ever done. And I want you to know that through my journey, like, I was not someone that came into this business with, like, I wasn't a doctor, I wasn't a lawyer. I would say I'm not the smartest person in the room, but basically what I did is I plugged into a system. I realized its potential in terms of what this could give me, and I anchored in on my own why and the change that I wanted to create in my life. And I believe you don't need skills or confidence to start this business to be successful. You just need a desire for change, and you can decide what that looks like. So let's get into the actual story of Arbonne. So as you can see here, Arbonne has been empowering people to really flourish since 1980. So we were actually founded by a gentleman called Peter Mork. And way back in the 80s, he had this incredible vision that he wanted to really empower people to really thrive in their minds and in their bodies. And he wanted to create this holistic line of products that he wanted to take to the market in the 80s at a time when most things were highly synthetically produced. And honestly, when I joined Arbonne, I didn't really get the vision behind the heritage of the company, but now I understand it because we're living in a world where people are starting to really understand the importance of wellness, what they put in their body, on their skin, what they allow into their lives, and also what they allow into their mind. They realise the impact because we've saw people burned out, we've saw people's health depleted, and we've also saw a rise in lifestyle diseases and illnesses, chronic fatigue, inflammation, depression, mental health being impacted. So wellness is a huge thing. So I truly believe that Peter's vision in the 80s, he was a visionary. He recognised that not only the market was going to change, but he wanted to be the trailblazer in changing that and standing for a brand that, was all about holistic wellness from the inside out and truly giving people the tools through our products to thrive and, in their skin and their body and in their minds. But he also wanted to couple it with a business. And it was a business that he believed would be a force for good for people, to give people the power to change their lives in whichever way they wanted to. And I love that. I love that it started with one man, and over the last 40, almost 5 years now, it's a company that has created a lot of impact globally. So why does wellness matter? As I've just mentioned there, the rise in, people's health being significantly impacted because of their lifestyle. There's more people now than ever. And I can't remember the statistic, but there's a statistic that was released in terms of a percentage of people today who are so stressed out and burned out that, like, just in terms of their mental health and their physical health being impacted. Now, my brains went blank because there is a statistic, and if anybody knows it, they can pop it in the chat. But it's just an apparent thing nowadays that well-being is so important. Being able to have a business where we get to put our well-being at the center, we get to help ourselves feel more energized, empower ourselves to become the best version of us, to, grow in our confidence, and then actually be able to share those tools with others. So really at the crux of what we do in Arbonne is we get to go on our own wellness journeys, and then we get to share that with others through both the business and through the product. So wellness has never been bigger. There's a huge demand in the marketplace for both health and well-being in terms of the products and the wellness programs that Arbonne offers, but also in terms of our holistic wellness community, in terms of the way we really empower people to thrive in their minds and bodies. So to tell you more about the products, There is over 300. Now, as I mentioned, when I started my business in my 20s, our core line was anti-aging skincare. Now, I actually built a really successful business on anti-aging skincare, despite the fact that I was in my 20s and my friends were not interested. So that's another thing that I want you to take away tonight. Like, you might be sitting here thinking, well, I don't know if my friends and family, if I decided to join this business, would buy from me. I'm here to show you an example of somebody that none of my friends and family, when I started Arbonne, were interested. I still built a successful business because this is network marketing, and I'm going to explain to you how we don't just have what I would describe as a direct selling business. Yes, we're selling products, but we have the ability to also scale beyond our network through network marketing. But also just know, if you were a hairdresser and set up a business, you don't rely on your friends and family. You know, you build your brand and also through word of mouth. And for me, I am an example of, or there's many people in Arbonne, probably all of us, that we built a successful business despite the fact that maybe none of our friends and family were interested. So I wanted to put your mind at ease about that. So we have incredible products. Our kind of three flagship kind of ranges are our results-driven skincare. So Derm Results Advance is our new anti-aging line. It is absolutely incredible, and the results that my clients have been getting with this skincare line of products have been exceptional. If you're looking for like results driven but safe anti-aging skincare, I would encourage you to try these. All of our products come with a 90-day money back guarantee, and that is because Arbonne's so confident in the quality. And as I've mentioned, like, the ingredients are not only the best of nature, but also they are results driven. Now, the next line of products that I personally absolutely love is our nutrition. Now, it wasn't till about 2019 that I really decided to embrace the nutrition. And I did one of our wellness programs, which is called the 30 Days to Healthy Living, or you've maybe heard it described as the Thrive program today. And essentially, it's a lifestyle program, and it really helps you as a person to just actually understand how to fuel your body. And it's almost like with the skincare. So I never knew how good my skin could feel and look until I started using good quality skincare through Arbonne. The same way, I didn't realize how good I could feel until I did the 30 Days to Healthy Living program. So it is a really great lifestyle program, and it focuses on the four pillars of what I would describe as health. So lifestyle and exercise, diet and nutrition, gut health, and then also mindset and nervous system. And essentially, all of our sort of main wellness programs focus on increasing your nutritional intake, optimizing your gut health, and helping you in a busy, fast-paced life fill in the gaps that you need in terms of increasing the nutrients, you know, in your diet. And I would just say two products that I couldn't live without, in fact, three, would be our Energy Fizz Sticks, the protein powder, and then also our Green Synergy, which is one of our kind of flagship gut health and greens and a collagen builder supplement. And I absolutely swear by it. So these are our kind of two main product lines. We then have everything else in between, like your makeup, your body care. And really, sorry, just going back to the picture. Why does this make sense? Like, if you're going to start a business, business 101 is you want to have a business that has products that have a marketplace demand, right? So with Arbonne, we have products that people are using day in and day out, but also they're consumable. So what that essentially means is you're not getting one customer. So let's just say you sold furniture, right? You sold beds and you sold couches. Now, with that type of business, everybody needs those things, but they usually buy them like maybe once every 10 years. So you're not going to have somebody come into your shop or onto your online shop every month and buy a new couch or a new mattress. The difference with Arbonne is people use skincare. It runs out. Our nutrition is highly consumable. So as we start to build this consumer network, and I'll explain how it works logistically, we have what we would describe as recurring revenue. So recurring income, where you recommend products once, they get delivered to somebody's door, you're paid for that commission over and over again. So this is the business model and really the concept behind network marketing. So what you can see in front of you here in the top is a traditional retail business model. The below is network marketing, which is Arbonne's business model. And I just want to take a few minutes just now just to share why I believe that network marketing, and I'm also not the only one, there's some really incredible business leaders, global leaders like Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, who else? There's many, many ones. Richard Branson, who have all described network marketing as the business model of the 21st century. It's one of the fastest growing industries out there. And in terms of a business, it's so smart and makes so much sense. And actually, most organizations and companies now are using a form of network marketing. So essentially, it's word of mouth advertising. You might have heard of affiliate marketing, where brands are now using people to basically reach the masses to learn more about the products or services that they sell. So how does it work? So obviously with traditional retail, a product has to go through a lot of processes before we then buy it. It means that when we buy products from traditional retail, a lot of the cost or most of the cost goes into the process. It goes into expensive advertising, celebrity endorsements, into the retail space, which is why so many of the high street brands, the products contain a lot of bulking agents, cheap fillers, and also different ingredients that help keep the shelf life of the product because it can sit in a warehouse for years. Now, the difference with network marketing is, and I'll take you through this example as an Arbonne, is we own the manufacturing and development and research centre. So Arbonne owns that. We're owned by a company called Groupe Rocher. They're a €2 billion French company. You've maybe heard of the brand Yves Rocher. Arbonne was their 10th acquisition. So they bought us, I think it was 2016, and they've invested a lot in the innovation of Arbonne and also in the growth. And they own their own research and development factories, and also they then take care of everything in terms of manufacturing the products, research and development to ensure the products are so cutting edge. Now, the only middlemen are the independent consultants. So people like myself, we have our own online business. We recommend the brand, the products, the business opportunity. We connect people to the brand. So there's two ways we connect people. We connect them as customers, people who just want to use our products, and then we connect people as independent consultants, so people who want to use the products but also want to be paid to share them. The products then get shipped via DPD from Arbonne's home office in each country that we're in. It gets shipped to the end person who buys the product. The commission then gets shared with the person who connected that person to the brand. So it's a really simple and clean, effective business model. And it enables an everyday normal person like you and I to essentially have what I would describe as like a franchise business. We don't have to worry about paying a customer service team. Arbonne do that. We don't have to worry about paying for warehouse space. Arbonne do that. We don't have to pay to set up a website. So we have a global, fully functional website, all created by Arbonne. We don't need to worry about any of the stuff that would normally cost hundreds and thousands and millions of pounds in traditional business. All we have to do is we use the products and we tell people about the products and about the brand. So I hope that that makes sense. So how does it work? So what I loved about Arbonne is, despite the fact I didn't back then, and I still don't believe I know hundreds and thousands of people, I realised that I knew a few people that if I could share with them the really simple concept of this business and brand, it would make sense and I could start to see how my business could grow. So essentially what we do is we teach people how to be smarter consumers. We teach them how to stop buying products from other brands and high street brands and companies that don't pay them to recommend their brands. We teach them how to become healthier through the Arbonne brand. And then we teach them how to share that concept, the business concept, and also the products with other people. So the thing that clicked for me here was I was always going to wash, use products, put makeup on. I was going to spend that money somewhere. Why not redirect that to my own online business? Buy products at a discount, use safer, cleaner, healthier products, and be able to share that with others. So basically what we do is we stop, we start, and then we share, if that makes sense. And along the way, we tell people about the business and about the products. So how does it actually work? So how it basically works is it starts with you, and every single person, right? So my biggest fear, and maybe you're sitting here tonight thinking, I don't know if I know enough people. My biggest fear when I first heard of Arbonne is, do I know enough people in order to build a successful business? I couldn't understand how, when people were, at the event that I first went to, how did they grow businesses that were turning over, tens and hundreds and thousands of pounds worth of product sales in 1 month? I'm like, gosh, they must know a lot of people and be selling a lot of skincare in order to do that. And I want to explain to you the power behind this business model, because it starts with you. And you tell a few people in your network. So who do you know right now that is looking for, better skin, more energy, more vitality, improved gut health, less brain fog, to feel good, more energized? But also, who do you know right now in your life that is looking for a way to earn more money? Who could do with an extra 500, 1,000, 5,000 or more pounds a month? Who do you know that's looking for more time? Who do you know that wants more flexibility? Who do you know that wants a way maybe to have an exit strategy from a job that right now, they're on that hamster wheel of working to live, and they want a way to be able to have more balance and not burn out? There's lots of people in your life, I can guarantee, who would be looking for a way to create what Arbonne offers. And when you join, you get the support to be able to share this with people, to learn how to tell people about this business and about these products. So you speak to, let's just say, a few people in your life, and they decide to get started and they start their own Arbonne business. Every single person has at least a network of 200 people that you don't know. And then they go out and they start to tell more people. And before you know it, you have had somebody in England join your Arbonne team, who knows somebody in Canada, who knows somebody in the States, who knows somebody in Poland. So when I joined Arbonne, I thought to myself, when they were talking about the different countries and the capacity to grow globally, I don't know anybody outside of the small town that I live in. I've now built a business that has went global, not because I knew people there, because I knew someone who knew somebody there, but also as I've lived my life over this last decade, I've met more people. And genuinely today, more than ever, I feel like I have more people now than I did when I started 12 years ago to share this business and these products with, because I believe more than ever in the economy that we're living in, that people need Arbonne, that people are looking for Arbonne, and people are looking for a way to fill the gap in terms of what they need to survive in an economy that has increased so substantially in terms of the cost of living. They say the average person has to earn on average an extra £5,000 a year, just to live the same lifestyle as they did a year ago, because the increase in living costs. So this is a way for people to fill the gap, or for it to be more if that's what they want. So there's different ways that people can join. If somebody just wants to use products, they can register as a client or as a preferred client. And I'm quickly just going to run through these. So a client is a retail client, and everybody who shops through Arbonne has their own unique account. And then they're then linked to the consultant who introduced them to the brand. Now, quickly, just to tell a story, because I feel like this will help it click. So 11 years ago, when I just started Arbonne, I went down to London for an event. It was called Taste of London. And I happened to get chatting to a woman who owned a winery, like a wine. They brought wine over from Argentina. So we were chatting there. She said, "What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I've got a wellness business. I'm partnered with a wellness brand called Arbonne. They specialise in plant-based clean skincare and beauty products." And she's like, "Oh, I'm looking for, cleaner skincare." So anyway, long story short, I ended up giving her a sample pack that I had in my bag. Now, it doesn't always happen this way. Usually we help people to connect them to the brand, but she actually went home and ended up going online and ordering a full anti-aging set. And I've never seen Claire since I met her that time, but she's continued to use Arbonne since then. So this is the genius of the fact that we connect people to the brand, they have their own account, and then we get paid as the consultant who recommended them to that. So There's two customer accounts, client or preferred client. Preferred client is £10 in the UK to register. That gives them 20% off the products for a year. And then we also have a really great auto ship program where they can get a £40 cash credit off their order on their fourth Arbonne order. So it's a really good way for people to save money. And most of my clients have a preferred client account. It gives them great value. And then the way to do it as a business, which is what we've focused on tonight, is to become an independent consultant. So it's November 2024, in case anybody's watching the recording. And for this month, it's £50 to register as an independent consultant. Basically, what that gives you is a multi-million-pound global business in a box. It doesn't mean that you're going to grow it to that the only variable is you to build it, but you have that infrastructure. You have the plug and play sort of training and systems. You have the opportunity to earn annual incentive trips. So I'm just back last month. We were in Dubai on an incentive trip that I earned through my Arbonne business. I was able to take my mum and my two little girls, which was absolutely amazing. I think I've earned 7 incentive trips now in my 12 years I've been a part of Arbonne to places like the Bahamas, St. Martin, Miami, Maui, Mexico, Las Vegas, Dubai. So there's incredible incentives that you can earn above your commissions that you can earn through obviously your business. You get 35% discount as an independent consultant. You get to plug into all of the training. And essentially it is like having a business in a box that you can then grow as big or as small as you want, depending on what your own personal goals are. Your earning potential is completely limitless. It's based on your own effort. And I'll quickly just run through what you can earn. So you can earn up to 35% commission off your sales. And then if you decide to build a team, you earn override commissions. So it starts at 6%. And then as you move through the success plan, so there's 4 levels of management, you can earn up to 18% off of your overall monthly turnover of product sales in your business. Now there's 4 levels of management. Everybody starts as an independent consultant and you can promote to district manager, area manager, regional vice president, or national vice president. And I would encourage you to go to earnings.arbonne.com if you want to see the average earnings. And I would just say, like, for me over these I've been in Arbonne for 12 years. And in my 7th year of Arbonne in 2020, I promoted to the top level of management within the company. And what I will say is my results have not been typical in terms of, it's not, what's the word, typical, but it is possible, if that makes sense. And it took me 7 years to reach that level, to hit the top level of management in the company. And I'm just going to share my own earnings at that level. So my first paycheck as a national vice president in 2020, and this was the year where I was going through my separation, buying my own home, and my highest income at the national vice president level in that year was £15,000 in 1 month. Now, like I said, I don't share that for you to look at me and think, oh, like, you're great. I share that to show you what's possible. Yes, did it take hard work in order to achieve that? Absolutely. But so does everything in life. And what I can say is we were in lockdown that year. I was working my business around being at home with my 2 kids. And I'm just so grateful that I had the ability to do that through this business and be able to set myself back up. So that is basically the earning potential. Like I said, if you want to go and see each level, the averages, you can go to earnings.arbonne.com. This is basically where we are. So we're in America, we're in Canada, we're in Australia, we're in the UK, and we're also in Poland. So we're only in, how many countries is that? So bad, I have to get 5 countries. 5 countries at the moment. We're a 44-year-old company that has not yet went global. We have only 1% brand awareness in all of the markets that we're in. So there's so much room for growth. If you're sitting here thinking, oh, well, the company started 44 years ago, like it's past its time in terms of me being able to really hit it at ground level. Absolutely not, because there's still massive room for growth. I think we were at an event recently, a leadership training, where they said there's 500, I think it was 500 million people in the countries that Arbonne are in that we can share this with 1% brand awareness. And we still have so many other countries to go into in the future. But the thing that I want you to know is this is not a company that's going to be here today, gone tomorrow. It has over 4 decades, nearly 5 decades worth of history. We've ridden the highs and lows of the global economy. We're owned by an incredible company, Group Rocher, who are invested in Arbonne's future. So honestly, like the growth that we've yet to experience, it really is limitless. And I believe more than ever, people are looking for ways to earn more money, to have more flexibility, to live life on their own terms, and to put wellness at the centre of it. So I am gonna try and stop the share. And just really to wrap this up, I would say like the things that sort of came to my mind the first time I heard this was, okay, that's a lot of information. Does it make sense? And I think the thing I would just ask yourself is like, does it make sense? And if the answer is no, go back to the person who invited you to listen to this. I am the example of someone who came into this with no skills, no experience, no confidence at the time. And I've built a really successful business. Has it been easy all of the time? No. Has there been challenges? Yes. The biggest thing that I've had to overcome is a little voice in my head that told me that I couldn't do it, that I wasn't worth it, and then often the opinions of others. But I am so grateful that I valued my own opinion of my life, what I wanted for my future, over what other people thought. I know that what I do with Arbonne is not the norm. The norm is to go to work for 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life, to then retire in your late 60s now on 40% of what you already probably couldn't thrive on. I chose not to follow the crowd, and I'm so grateful that because of Arbonne and the community that we're a part of, I had people that supported me, that breathed belief into me, and that made me believe that it was possible for me. So I would just say if there's a tiny part of you that's excited about this, just jump in. It's £50 to register. Get some products to start using them. Speak to the person who invited you on, and they will guide you to get started. But if you are someone that has a desire for change, I believe that this is one of the best business models, but also community to be a part of in order to create the change that you want. So thank you so much for your time tonight. I hope that that has been helpful, and I will speak to you all soon.